Age became just a number as I pulled her into my arms and kissed her passionately, right in the middle of the grocery store. In that moment, it felt like the world had stopped. A jolt of electricity surged through my body when our lips met, igniting a spark I had never felt before. But we weren't alone in the store, and what happened next changed everything. Suddenly, chaos erupted. The store was shot at, shattering the moment and turning our love story in an entirely unexpected direction. From that day forward, nothing was ever the same. Love isn't something you plan for. It happens when you least expect it, in places you'd never imagine. My story is proof of that. At 41, I thought I had everything. Wealth, success, a life that most would envy. But what I didn't realize was that love, true, heart-thumping, life-altering love, was still out there waiting for me. And it came in the form of a 20-year-old grocery store clerk with a smile that could light up the darkest room. It all started on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. I was running late for a meeting, and my fridge was depressingly empty. I made a quick stop at the local grocery store, planning to grab a few essentials and leave. That's when I saw her. She was standing behind the cash register, her curly blonde hair pulled back into a messy ponytail, her blue eyes sparkling as she laughed with a customer. She couldn't have been more than 20, but something about her captivated me. She had this aura of lightness, this unfiltered joy that felt rare in a world full of people trying to look busy and important. When it was my turn at the checkout, I was oddly nervous. Her name tag read Emma, and when she smiled at me, it felt like the ground shifted beneath my feet. "Hi," she said, her voice cheerful. "How's your day going?" "Good," I managed to reply, though my voice sounded foreign to me. "Just busy." She nodded sympathetically. "Aren't we all?" Then she scanned my items with practiced ease. "Your shoes are gorgeous, by the way," she added, glancing at my designer heels. I blinked, caught off guard. Compliments were something I received often, but hers felt genuine. "Thank you. I love your..." I gestured vaguely, realizing I had no idea what to say. "Name tag?" she teased, her eyes twinkling. "It's pretty chic." I laughed, and for a moment the rest of the world fell away. I walked out of the store that day feeling lighter than I had in years, her smile etched in my memory. Days turned into weeks, and I found myself returning to that grocery store more often than necessary. Each visit felt like a game of chance. Would Emma be working? And when she was, our conversations grew longer. She'd ask about my day, my work, and I'd find myself sharing more than I intended. There was something about her that made me feel safe, like I could be myself without judgment. One evening, as I was about to leave the store, she called after me. "Hey, wait!" I turned, my heart skipping a beat. "Yes?" She held out a small bouquet of daisies. "These were going to be thrown out. Thought you might like them." I took the flowers, my fingers brushing hers. "Thank you. They're beautiful." "So are you," she said softly, her cheeks turning pink. Time seemed to freeze. Before I could second-guess myself, I leaned in and kissed her. It was brief but electric, leaving me breathless. When I pulled back, she was smiling. "Wow," she whispered. "I'm sorry," I began, suddenly aware of how reckless I'd been. "Don't be," she interrupted, her eyes sparkling. "I've been wanting to do that for weeks." Our connection deepened quickly. We started meeting outside the store, grabbing coffee or taking long walks in the park. Emma was curious about my life, but I was hesitant to reveal too much. She knew I was older, of course, but she didn't know just how wealthy or high profile I was. I didn't want my status to intimidate her or make her feel like she didn't belong in my world. But secrets have a way of catching up with you. One evening, as we were sitting in a cozy cafe, she asked, "Why don't you ever talk about your work?" I hesitated. "It's just complicated." "Complicated how?" I took a deep breath. "Emma, there's something I need to tell you. I'm not just a regular person with a regular job. I'm pretty wealthy. I own several businesses and my life is public to an extent." She stared at me, her expression unreadable. "Why didn't you tell me before?" "Because I didn't want it to change how you see me," I admitted. "I love how real you are, how you treat me like just another person. I didn't want to lose that." She was quiet for a long moment. Then she reached across the table and took my hand. "Thank you for telling me. It doesn't change how I feel about you, but I'm going to need some time to process this." For the next few days, Emma was distant. She didn't text or call, and when I went to the store, she wasn't there. I felt like my world was crumbling. Had I ruined everything by being honest? Finally, after a week of silence, she showed up at my office. She looked nervous but determined. "Can we talk?" she asked. I nodded, ushering her into my private lounge. Once we were alone, she said, "I've been thinking a lot about us, about you, and I realized that I'm not scared of your wealth or your status. What scares me is how much I care about you, how fast this is all happening." I felt a weight lift off my chest. "Emma, I care about you too, more than I ever thought possible." She smiled and it felt like the sun breaking through the clouds. "Then let's figure this out together." Just when I thought things were finally falling into place, a new challenge emerged. Someone had taken a photo of us kissing in the park and sold it to a tabloid. The headline was cruel. "Billionaire businesswoman's secret romance with young grocery clerk." Emma was devastated. "I never wanted to be in the spotlight," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know how to handle this." "We'll handle it together," I promised. "I'll make sure you're protected." But the damage was done. Paparazzi started following her, digging into her past, trying to paint her as a gold digger. It was unbearable. One night, after yet another confrontation with a photographer, she said, "Maybe we should end this. Maybe it's better if I go back to my normal life." "Emma, no," I said firmly. "I love you. We can get through this. Please don't give up on us." She looked at me, her eyes full of pain. "I don't want to lose you, but I'm losing myself in all of this." Determined to make things right, I hired a PR team to manage the media frenzy and issued a statement defending Emma. I also worked to show her how much she meant to me, planning quiet getaways where we could escape the chaos and just be ourselves. Slowly but surely, things started to improve. The tabloids lost interest, and Emma began to feel more comfortable in our relationship. But the real turning point came when she decided to pursue her passion for art. "I want to be more than just your girlfriend," she said. "I want to create something of my own." I supported her wholeheartedly, even funding her first gallery show. Watching her thrive, seeing her smile again, made every struggle worth it. A year after that fateful first kiss, I took Emma back to the park where it all began. Under the same tree where we'd first kissed, I got down on one knee and held out a ring. "Emma, you've brought so much light into my life. You've taught me how to love and be loved in return. Will you marry me?" She stared at me, her eyes filling with tears. "Yes," she said, her voice trembling. 1,000 times yes." As we kissed, the world faded away once more. It wasn't the life I'd planned, but it was the life I'd always needed. And it all started with a smile in a grocery store.